This is the Coming Home Podcast with John Allen. And welcome, everybody, to this episode of Coming Home with John Allen. I am your humble host, John Allen. Before we get to my conversation with Mr. Thomas Larsen, I want to remind all of my viewers and listeners, it doesn't matter if you're listening on a podcast platform like Spotify, iTunes, or Google Podcasts, or if you're watching on YouTube, go to the episode description, and there you will find several links where you can find me. The main link being johnallenpod.com, JOHNALANPOD.com. That's where you can find several ways to support my work. Among them, and most importantly, you can support my work by taking a look at, or a listen rather, at my audiobook. Costs only $5 a month. You get a chapter every week. That's 4, sometimes 5 chapters every month for only $5. Check it out. If you like my voice and you're interested in my story, get it at my audiobook. There, enough of that. Hello, Mr.
Hi.
Thomas Larsen. Hello, my friend.
Hey, how are you?
How's it going, man?
It's going good.
I'm doing fine.
Yeah.
I want to give a quick little introduction. This is our second time doing this.
Yeah.
We had a little bit of technical difficulties, but let's take another stab at it.
Yeah.
A little quick introduction for everybody who's watching or listening. Thomas Larsen is coming at us from Sweden. He is the voice and the face of the podcast Write That Damn Song.
Yeah.
And he is the owner of Fabriken Studio in Malmö, Sweden.
Yeah.
Fabriken, that means factory in English.
It does.
You get a lot of musicians coming through there. You get a lot of music made there. I guess it is a music factory, isn't it?
Well, I guess so. The name just stuck after I started my first small studio in a place just called Fabriken, and they didn't have a studio.
Yeah.
So I asked, "Hey, do you mind if I call it Fabriken Studios?" And they went for it.
There you go.
Yeah. So yeah.
So you are the studio factory. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love it. How is the struggle? Is it a struggle, or is it just smooth sailing running your studio? You have to, there's a certain marketing aspect to it,
Yeah.
which can be a little bit frightening for some musicians. All of us, we just want to sing and play our music and record our music. But if we want to have a level of success, we have to think about the marketing, getting our name out there, letting people know that we have a studio,
Yeah.
showing our body of work. How do you approach the business side of this?
Oh my God! Now I am. It is a bit of a struggle. It is a bit of a struggle. But it's not a struggle in the sense of There's a lot of studios in Sweden and everywhere, and we all try to get to the place where we can make a living. To get to that place, you have to first of all be stupid enough not to give up, and number 2, you have to have some sort of quality coming out to people and what people listen to, or the bands or the artists that you do, and then you can pay for promotion. You can do a lot of things on Facebook, on Instagram, but all in all, the best thing I've discovered is that do a good job, get the word of mouth going, and be open for what people tell you. If somebody has an idea or even a criticism that you you can do better, listen and try it, and don't be afraid of changing things up to get the best result for anybody. Yeah, if that makes sense. That's my philosophy. Try.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. But isn't that a struggle for some people in the music world? That whole thing about being open to that feedback and then making a necessary change
Yeah.
in order to take it a step further.
Oh yeah.
Musicians are notorious for getting stuck in their
Oh
ways.
yeah.
This is my vision. This is the way I want it to be. I'm not going to change.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Do you ever find yourself in that position, or do you
Oh, every
end
day.
up having to work with musicians who are in that? Yeah.
No, every day
Yeah.
we still have our ways to do things, and it's not that we can just change on a dime. We have to also stand our ground and say this is how we do this, as but in the same at the same time you have to see who you're working with. You might have people who's not they're not used to being in the studio, and you have to see what they do and how they work and how you can make them work efficiently with what they with their vision.
Yeah.
But sometimes it doesn't work out.
I think
you know
Well, and I've always thought that a good producer is going to be. I mean, a producer kind of has to be a leader in the. A producer has to be a leader in the studio.
Yeah.
A producer has to guide the musicians.
Yeah.
However, at the same time, a producer has to be the most flexible.
Yeah.
In other words, if you get that quirky artist
Yeah.
who wants to do it this way,
Yeah.
The exciting challenge for a good producer is to maybe bend their ways of producing to share that artist's vision
Yeah.
and make it a good product.
Absolutely.
That's quite a challenge for a producer, I would imagine.
Oh, it is. It is.
And I don't know too much about that. I only produce myself. I've helped out other artists, but I've never really done a full on producer job. But I can see where that would be, at the same time as it's extremely challenging, I could see that it would be also very giving. It's quite the opportunity to learn and grow, I would imagine.
Oh, it is. I want to first of all say I love what I do, and if I didn't, I wouldn't even talk to you about it. Because it's I am always excited.
Yeah.
I am also, like you said, there's a challenge when you have a band and or an artist, and the artist they don't know how to get to the point of where they want to go. They have a vision, but they don't know how.
Right.
And also there's and
Yeah.
what I've learned the last couple of years is to be honest with everybody, that if you want this to happen, if you want this vision to come true, if you want to get to your vision, then you have to think of it as furniture design. In a way, you have to have the right idea. And you have to work this chair that you're designing. You're designing a chair, and if you want to design a chair that's both usable and looks cool or great, or what you want it to look like, then you have to have you have to know how do I get these these four pieces together that it looks good and is tight enough, and there's no rubble, there's no we're not jamming this chair, we're not jamming, we can't just say, oh, I'll use that and use this and then, oh, it's a chair. No, it's really not a chair. So you have to remind the artist and the band that if you want this to work, then you have to see all the components to make the song works needs to be there. And that's the challenge, to get people to know and get them to play these things and make them also understand that this is important. Because if you don't get to that point, then you have a bit of a struggle. That's what I've.
I can tell you've put a lot of thought into gathering your thoughts around your experiences with that. I
Yeah.
think there's quite a few, especially newer artists. There's quite a few of them who, they're very good at painting the landscape, but
Mhm.
they can't find the path to it.
Exactly.
And that's where a producer comes in.
That is,
Yeah.
yeah, that's more or less
It's
exactly the way it is. I feel.
what do you like best as no, I agree with you. I
Yeah.
agree with you. But let me ask you this. What do you like best about producing?
What I like best, I do. I th- ooh. No, I love a lot of. I think I love the whole experience. First of all, there's nothing that I
Yeah.
think are a lot of just work, but I do just the creative experience that I have with
Yeah.
an artist, that we can sit down, I can listen to the song, and we are open to ideas, and we can find a vision for that song, and we can discuss, what do you see with this song and this artist, for example,
Yeah.
or the band goes, well, I feel a bit of the Steve Earle or the 1975s or Springsteen or whatever, in this song, and I can go, yeah, and then we
Yeah.
start searching for that sound. What would they do? That's how I work. Well, what would they do? And we start just listening to music, and listening and
So it's
gathering.
like the unfolding.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like the unfolding of a tapestry, and then you
yeah,
guys start analyzing it together, and you
exactly.
put the whole thing together. That must be, and again, as I said, I've I'll go in the studio and help out an artist, but I've never really done that producer role.
Yeah,
I've never really been produced by others. I just do my own thing.
yeah,
But that symbiosis, that cooperation,
yeah,
that melding together of the minds
yeah.
between artist and producer fascinates me, and it must be such a rewarding experience.
Oh, it
I know
is.
how rewarding it is to come up with a song idea
Yeah,
and record it and get it done, but it's so much more complex when you're a producer and you're guiding another artist, and then that whole process of you getting into the idea that artist has
yeah,
and then sharing that. That's just such a that whole process fascinates me.
yeah. Yeah, well, it's I've had, yeah, and it still fascinates me when you have people you work with and you don't know them, and all we bond over is the music that they have, and after a
Yeah.
while, maybe the music that we both like, that we all like, and and um, and when we and the best thing, and hopefully I can, hopefully I can say that it's been rewarding both ways, for me and the artist, that when we are
Yeah.
done, they feel the same thing that I feel. Listen to what we just did, listen to what we've created,
Yeah. Yeah.
or what you created, what we've done together, and what we've done. And I'm not going to go and take credits or anything, because I feel that without their song, I wouldn't be able to run any ideas. It's their song that gets me going, which makes them going, which makes me going again for the song, and then the process
So you
again.
never take okay, so you never take any songwriting credit in the projects when you're working with other artists.
Well, I gotta admit, if
Because
I
some producers will do that.
oh yeah,
Some producers will do that automatically,
yeah,
even if they don't write a single note or a single word.
yeah.
They'll automatically take songwriting credit. What's your process, and what are your thoughts about that?
No, I do. If I write, with the artist, if the artist has a song that's 70% there, but there's the chorus is lacking, or the verse could be, or the
Yeah.
bridge, just a bridge would good in this song, and I
Yeah.
come up with it. I usually just ask them nicely if I can get some sort of percentage. It's just a proper thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's it. If maybe
Sure.
maybe I should be more
Sure.
strict on it, but I feel that we've come to this point where we just can be honest, and the artist would
Yeah.
not really say no,
Yeah.
at least for now. I'm not sure
Yeah.
if the Cardigans would do the same thing. Well, maybe they would. I hope they would.
They might. They might.
They might.
Um, how do you? What is your? What is your process when it comes to choosing who you work with? You don't, or do you just take all comers, or do you have a selection process?
Ooh, I am. Well, to be honest, sometimes you have to just take the work that you get. There's sometimes there's no, you have to say yeah, and
Yeah.
luckily every time I've done that, it's been a great experience. Sometimes I
Good.
can choose to say no, not because I don't want to, but just the fact that I don't feel that I am the necessary, that I'm the best man, the person for the job. Sometimes I know
Okay.
that there's people around me that are better at doing, let's say, just heavy metal or stoner rock, or you know
Yeah.
things like that. EDM. I
Yeah.
wouldn't really go into EDM, even if I had
No.
the interest of. I like I find I find it interesting, the whole genre, but I wouldn't really be a proper producer for any EDM artist. But I know people who are.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand that, but then I'm wondering if you would, what would it take for you to step into EDM, for example,
Hmm.
or some other music genre that you're not familiar with?
Hmm.
Because I guess I think of the experience I had when I wrote a country album
Yeah,
for my good friend A. Stein Remy.
yeah, yeah.
I've never had anything to do with country music before,
No,
but he approached me, and all of a sudden here I am, and I wrote an album
yeah,
for him,
yeah,
and it's the best thing I ever could have done.
yeah,
Boy, the mental
yeah,
process of putting myself in this lane
yeah,
instead of this, that, or the other lane, putting myself in that lane,
yeah,
and then telling a story in a country music context
yeah.
was incredibly rewarding.
Oh yeah.
Could you see yourself stepping into, I don't know, a heavy metal, or whatever it is, whatever music genre it is?
Oh
Or are you pretty much locked into your path with your type of music that you produce now, and that's it?
no, no. I think I'm gonna take back just a couple of things that I said. Not take back. I would like. I'm a huge music fan. I
Yeah.
have every my influences ranges from Slayer from early childhood, and Bon Jovi from early childhood, and Kiss from early childhood, to all kinds of music throughout my life, and it's been a long life so far. It's been a good life so far, but I've always been open to
Yeah.
things. But I and if somebody asks me to listen, we want you to produce this album, and yes, we know that we are not in your genre, but we want you to do this for the challenge. I would do that. I would
Yeah.
always find ways to learn and get into whatever they're into, but it has to. I think it would be from their request, from the artist's requests.
I see. Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I know.
And you have to feel that you can do you have to feel that you can do the music justice.
Yes, exactly, and
Yeah.
and I say this of course, out of experience, that I've taken on a few projects that I wasn't really, I didn't get to point B with it, because they probably
Right.
also thought that, well, we're just recording. It's it's this and it's easy, But no, you need to
Yeah.
have a relationship with the artist and the music, and you have to have the knowledge of how to get the sound that they want. And
Right. Right.
I am pretty,
Well, that's that melting. That's that melting. That merging of the
yeah,
minds that I was talking about.
yeah,
The challenge that a producer has, but the challenge that a good producer can meet and work with.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I wouldn't really say no to anything in that that
Yeah.
easily. I'd rather go and talk, and if they want certain sound that I know that I'm not going to be able to do, then maybe I would go. Well, then I'm not the right guy. But if they,
Yeah. That's all about being honest
yeah,
in the interest of the art and just being honest
exactly,
and recognizing that you're not the right person for it. Yeah.
yeah,
Let me ask you a few rapid fire
sure.
questions. Your favorite instrument to play?
My favorite instrument to play. Well, I've always played guitar and I've always sung, so that comes natural. But I think my pedal steel is my favorite to
Ah,
play. I think it's a nice challenge, and it's a beast to get to know. And
it's a beautiful sounding instrument. I've never played it,
no,
but it fascinates me. It's beautiful.
yeah.
I think one of my favorite pedal steel players was Ben Keith.
Oh, I love
Played
him.
with Neil Young
Yeah,
all those years. Nobody to me,
yeah.
nobody did it more tasteful.
Oh,
I'm sure
he's
there's
all
I know there's
taste.
other players,
Yeah,
there's other players with more technical skill, but oh my gosh, the
yeah,
taste that Ben Keith had. May he rest in peace.
yeah, yeah,
Okay, so that was favorite instrument. Let
yeah.
me favorite music genre.
My favorite movie. This is oh my god, I hate these questions. No, I don't hate them, but
I
I
I
it's
I
a,
I bring out the hate in people. I
yeah,
have a
I know.
tendency for
No, I my favorite music genre would be no, I would I like to quote Lemmy. There's two kinds of music, and it's the
yeah.
music you like, and it's the music you don't like. And my favorite
That's a good
genre,
quote.
yeah, my
That's a good quote.
favorite genre is the one that I like. I feel at home in singer songwriter,
Yeah.
the singer songwriter thing. I like a song. I do like.
Yeah.
I have. There's a few genres within, especially with the more harder, heavy, the metal things, where I feel that the song is second and the riffs and the performance is first. The riffs are very important.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's very important for the riff, and the riffs need to crush. If you want to, if you
Yeah.
Metallic, or
Yeah.
let's say Slayer is one of them, but there's a whole other thing. But sometimes I feel that some of those new metal bands, or the bands that came in the 90s, that they had a lot of
Yeah.
great riffs and a lot of great chops, and then the vocals were just put on top of all the stuff that's already there. And that means that
Ah,
there's
yes.
the melody and the song doesn't really develop the way I like.
Right.
But if you take a band like
A little bit less. I was going to say a little less cohesiveness within
yeah,
the song.
exactly. But
Yeah.
if you take the
Yeah.
go to bands like Pantera and Megadeth and Anthrax, oh yeah,
Pantera. Love
yeah,
them.
yeah, you get the sense of that it's they've done this as a cohesive unit when they wrote that
Yeah.
song. Sort of,
Yeah.
they come up with a riff, and
Yes.
then
Yeah.
there's a melody and everything, and especially
Yeah. You can feel it.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I like music with
Um,
melody and a hook.
cool. Cool. Cool.
It can be so many
Favorite
things.
band. Next rapid fire
Yeah.
question. Favorite band or artist.
Favorite band. I got to say, Springsteen is probably the most important musical figure for me. From way
For you. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Bruce Springsteen would be
Yeah.
the leader of it.
Best decade for music.
90s.
The
The
You
90s.
surprise me now. Let me ask you. Let me ask you a side question.
Oh, yeah.
How old are you, Thomas?
I'm 48.
You're 48,
Yeah.
and you say the 90s. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
But I have a.
It's not like I drastically disagree with you. I'm just surprised you said the 90s. Yeah, I am.
And I said that with so much confidence.
You sure did. You meant that. You meant that.
No, but yeah.
Let me. No, go ahead. Go ahead. Please.
No, I could tell you why I felt like that, but there's a bit of a detailed outlook on the whole thing. But I'll we can save that.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it. Go ahead.
You want to hear it? Yeah. Okay.
No, go ahead. Why you say the 90s?
Okay. So,
Let's hear it.
no, the 90s for me. Well, I grew up in the 80s, and when I grew up in the 80s, we had all the bands in the 80s that meant so much to my upbringing and my musical upbringing, which meant that you had long hair, fast playing, skills up the Yahoo, and some of those bands are still great, and I mean they mean so much. But when the 90s came, things changed like that, and suddenly you had bands that didn't need to play flashy or look good, or you had the alternative scene, and the alternative scene said, no, we're not going to listen to you, we're going to do our own shit. Sorry if I didn't mean to curse. And
you can curse, go ahead.
And then Nirvana came and Pearl Jam came, the grunge thing came, and had some totally dysfunctional bands, and sounds. But we were so tired of everything else that we just hooked onto it. Now, the 90s also introduced the 70s, the aesthetics of the 70s, like Lenny Kravitz and all that stuff. They also introduced the be yourself generation, that you can be. Yeah. You can be a female artist, and you can rock, and you can sell. You can become your own boss, like Anna DeFranco and Righteous Babe Records, which is a huge thing for me.
Yeah.
And she just did everything herself, and she became one of the alternative artists. But also Diamanda Gallas and Sonic Youth and Lisa Loeb, REM, Chili Peppers, all these bands, Pantera, all these bands they could jam together. They were just so much in sync with each other, even if it's totally different.
Yes.
And the 80s I didn't feel the 80s were like that. The 70s weren't really like that. And the 2000s aren't like that. I think the 2000s are more like, stuff are happening, but it's not exciting. The 90s were like, you could hear about the Rage Against the Machine and REM talking about each other and how they meant what they meant to each other.
Yeah.
That's why I say the 90s.
I remember, and I have an affection for music in the 90s, especially the grunge movement. I can remember when Pearl Jam released their first album.
Me too.
And it had been out for a while, and I kept hearing about this band, Pearl Jam, but I didn't hear them. I heard about them because at that time I was in the Marines and I was in Okinawa, Japan. Yeah. And they just weren't playing that music over there.
No.
But we went on a little operation for training in South Korea.
Yeah.
It was the middle of winter, and this would have been the winter of 92.
Yeah.
And some guy had a cassette tape do we remember cassette tapes?
Yeah.
He had a cassette tape of Pearl Jam's first album. Yeah. And I listened to it, and it just blew me away. It was so
Yeah.
different than anything I had really heard up until that
Yeah.
point, because I didn't really get into Nirvana until much later.
No.
So I knew about the grunge movement and I heard about it and all that stuff, but my first time of really getting into it
Yeah.
was that first Pearl Jam album.
Yeah.
And like I said, it blew me away. The lyrical content. Eddie Vedder is an excellent lyricist, especially on that album,
Yeah.
if you ask me.
Yeah.
And he has that powerful yet very emotional voice
Yeah.
at the same
Oh, yeah.
time. And then the musicianship, obviously, Stone Gossard and Mike McReady can do those lightning. They can hit them lightning solos, and they do it from time to time.
Yeah.
But it was more pulled back than what we had in the 80s, and it was a rare thing when they would rip out those solos.
Yeah.
And it just the whole thing, it just blew me away. And then from there, I'm like, okay, this is grunge.
Yeah.
And then I went back and started listening to Nirvana's first couple albums. I listened to Soundgarden's first couple albums, Alice in Chains, and it just, So I'm with you on the 90s. I wouldn't. It's not my favorite decade, but it was an excellent decade.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Now, all the decades are great because there's always people pushing. We're still, incredibly enough, I feel that we're still pushing boundaries when it comes to music. But I think you can't do that. You can't do that now. I'm like I said, I'm 48, but I'm very happy to at least have. I remember that month. When all these albums, there's 6 weeks of great albums coming out, like Pearl Jam, Soundgarden, Chili Peppers, Metallica, Nirvana. 6 albums came within like 6 weeks, and those 6 albums are today regarded as the classics. And it was that those 6 weeks were just like, what's happening now? You know, it was such a. I get goosebumps when I think about it. You know.
Oh, so do I. So do I. It's great. It was great music. It was a great time to be listening to music. It was a great time to be, kind of getting that, getting a musical mindset from that music that was released in that time.
Exactly.
Let me ask you this, Thomas. In the interest of time, I want to ask you now about your podcast.
Yeah.
Your podcast is called "Write That Damn Song."
Yeah.
Tell me about it. How did you come about this podcast, and why are you doing it?
Well, I don't know. I just wanted to have, like you probably know, I do like to talk. I have, I think I like talking. I like the format of just sitting here with you and just talk. It's such a great thing. Yeah. Right. And
it is. I love it.
Yeah. You're a great talker. You're a great podcast host.
Oh, thank you.
Thank
you. I was saying I love it in general. I just love podcasting and I love discussion.
Yeah.
I love it. But thank you for that compliment on me. Thank you.
No, you deserve it. No, but and then I just I wanted to do something that people didn't really do. And the first thing that I came up with was to write a song every episode. And I did that the first 50 episodes, like a while back. I did write a song. It's not really easy to write 50 songs in a year, which, or good songs, or, to come up with songs. And
I just want to jump in. About being prolific and writing 50 songs. There's a guy on Twitter. I cannot remember the name of his Twitter page, but this guy writes a song every day, and he's done it for over a year.
Oh yeah,
a song every day, and he puts it out, and it's not crap. It's not junk. It's a song.
It's a song
every day, finished, produced.
Yeah. Every
day, and he's done it for over a year now. That's
awesome.
Fascinating. But that you wrote 50 songs for 50 episodes of your show, man. That's quite prolific.
Yeah, it's
well done.
I do like the art of songwriting, and that's why I started thinking about maybe do a songwriting podcast. But then again, I have
Yeah.
no idea what I'm doing, you know. I'm just so I try to get some.
But that's what's fun.
Yeah, it is, you know, and you still you try to be better every time you do something, you know. And I've learned
Yeah.
today. I've learned so many things. How you handle this interview is like awesome, you know. I've never been on this side of
Oh,
of the chair, the fence, you know, to be asked. So
I love being a guest on other people's
it is
podcasts. I
pretty
was on
cool.
your
Yeah,
podcast, and thank you for
yeah,
that
it was
invitation.
awesome.
I'll make sure I put a link to that. I'll put a link to
Yeah,
that
please
episode in
do.
the description here. But I find that every time I sit on the other
Yeah,
end of this, and I'm a guest on
yeah,
someone's show, I learn new things, not only about how other people run their
yeah.
show, but I find out new things about
Me
myself
too.
because people come up with the most interesting, unexpected
Exactly,
questions. You know,
exactly. That's
things
what I thought you were thinking about.
that me as a guest I don't normally think about,
Yeah,
and then boom, here comes that
yeah,
question, and then I answer it, and now I've learned something new about myself.
exactly.
So it's fun. Podcasting all around is
It
fun,
is fun.
whether it's me
Yeah,
being a guest or me running my show. I love
yeah,
it. I just love it.
yeah.
Um, I do this thing. I do this thing at the end of every episode with my guests, where I have them do a couple of things for me.
Sure.
I don't think you knew that you were going to come here and have to do some work, but I'm going to ask you to do two
Okay.
things. I'm going to say three words, and then I would like for you to finish the sentence for
Oh
me.
my
Okay,
God.
one sentence.
3 words.
You ready?
Okay,
I'm going to say three words,
and it
and then
can
you
be
finish the
anything.
sentence.
It can be anything.
It can be anything.
Okay.
I'm going to say three.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to say 3 words, and then you'll finish it with however you want to do it, but it has to be one
Okay.
sentence. Okay.
Be ready to edit.
Thomas Larsen is.
Uh,
No editing. Here we go. 3 words. Thomas Larsen is.
an ambitious, hardworking individual. Hopefully, with enough empathy and sympathy for the rest of the world, and and I don't know. Yeah, yeah. Hard. I would say I would ambitious and hardworking and hopefully
Ambitious.
nice enough.
You're a seeker. You're a seeker of
I
knowledge.
am. As long as yeah, I would say so. Yeah,
Yeah. That's where the ambition
Yeah.
is. You're looking to learn more.
I am.
You're a very curious guy. I really found that out when I was on your show. You're a curious guy. You seem to have a lot of interest for what other people think and feel and experience.
Yeah.
And I would guess that you just pluck from those answers
Yeah.
and incorporate that into your own life.
I try. I
Yeah.
try to learn from everybody. You know, I try to.
Well, you seem real happy and satisfied with life and satisfied with the work you're doing. You seem to have good balance
Yeah.
in your life, and that it shows when you combine that observation with this genuine curiosity that you have. You seem to have found a good balance. You seem to be in a good place in life.
I would say so. I have my daily struggles like everybody else. I have my my traumas, my things that happened that I've been working
Yeah.
out and still probably work out. But I wouldn't say that's any unnormal behavior. I think most of us do that every day. I know your story.
I think
about,
so. I think, yeah.
I know your story, and I've
Yeah.
yeah, and I've been thinking about that a lot. You know, how you
Oh, have you?
yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta say
It's
it
for
moved me.
those who don't know, Thomas is referring to me having lost my son in November of 2019. I lost my son to a heroin overdose.
Yeah.
He was a long time heroin addict, and he finally lost his life to it in November of 2019. So that's my struggle. I mean, I have much less than a perfect life besides that. So there are other things, but I would say that is the main struggle that I've had in my life. You know, having experienced that loss and then the aftermath of incorporating that loss into my life. It's not an easy process.
No, but like I said,
Um,
you seem to be doing the right moves to get through it all.
I think so.
You know, and
I think so. Yeah, I have enormous support from my
yeah,
wife. Hats off to you,
yeah,
Snoopy. So that help. So that
yeah,
helps. But then also the way I was raised and my own life experience as a
yeah,
child. I'm putting that into the mix as
yeah,
well, and and using those experiences to also push and pull myself through this
yeah,
loss and incorporating it into my
yeah.
life. Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I gotta say that it's inspiring, and
Thank
yeah,
you, thank you.
and I still, like I said, I'm sorry that you've experienced it, but I'm also, I think it's um, trying to find the words without being. I think it's really like you said, an inspiring way you handle it.
Thank
You know,
you,
it's so hard
thank you.
to talk
And
about.
I
I'm
think that
sorry, man.
no, I appreciate no, but I appreciate your sentiment,
Yeah,
and I think I've been thinking about this. You know, we have to recognize that it is possible for us as individuals to also inspire
yeah,
ourselves.
exactly.
And what I mean by that is in my case, you know, I knowing how crushed I was when I lost my
Yeah,
son, but then looking at where I am now, and I keep talking about how I incorporate that loss into my
yeah,
life. In other words, it's part of my
yeah,
life. I've made it a part of my
yeah,
life willingly,
yeah,
and I'm trying to use that experience towards betterment of my life and the life of my
yeah,
wife and our two
yeah,
kids, and my daughter and back in the States, and my grandkids
yeah, yeah.
back in the States.
Wow.
And and when I see uh, how I've grown through handling the loss of my
Yeah,
son, that I need to allow that to inspire
yeah,
me to continue down this
yeah,
path. So that's where that self inspiration comes from. Of course, I have my heroes out there, and I have my inspirations and mentors out there, but there's also an element of self inspiration. In other words, when you engage in retrospection, introspection, and you're looking through your
yeah.
life, you have to recognize where you're doing the right thing
Exactly.
at the same time as you recognize where you're not doing the right
Yeah,
thing. But when you see that you're doing the right thing, feel good about that.
yeah,
Use that to lift yourself further. And it works.
yeah.
It works.
I've
Yeah.
no, I've had my I'm not going to go into details, but I've had my share of traumatizing stuff
Sure.
that well, let's say that some kids shouldn't experience, and
Right.
I don't want to. You can make up your own mind.
That's another
Yeah, it
podcast. I
is.
want to
It
talk to you
is.
about more. I want to talk to you about some deep stuff in another
Yeah.
episode. So,
Now I'm not going to go deep,
yeah.
but what I'm going to do is what I'm going to say is that it's made me, but it has made me go like you said, be inspired and push myself towards what I want to be, and not let that be my fall. You know,
Yeah.
that what
Yeah.
I need to do is I gotta keep pushing myself to the point and be inspired. My songs are inspired by this stuff.
Yes.
My way of living is inspired by this stuff. It can show up in a dark place every now and then, but most of it all,
Sure.
it's
Sure.
in on the light side. It's on the.
Yeah.
I wake up smiling every day, more or less.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
you know.
let me ask you
Sure.
this. This is the second thing that I ask all my
Yeah.
guests to do for
Yeah.
me. Like I say, I put you guys to work when you come
Yeah.
here.
That's good.
The second thing I like to ask you, Thomas, um, is there anything you can say? We talk a bit about trauma. We talk a little bit about struggle, but we also talk about the light at the end of the
Yeah.
tunnel. You and we've had these
I like
discussions.
that.
Is there something that you can say to anybody who's watching or listening?
Mm.
Something you could say to inspire or motivate or maybe help somebody along on their path through life? Take it away. The microphone is yours. What can you say to inspire
Wow.
people?
What I it's let me just get my thoughts together. If I were to try to
Oh,
inspire,
don't do
no,
that.
no, no, no. What I would say is, um, oh my God, there's so many things. No, I would first of all, I would try to inspire people to be what they are, and don't be anybody else. Well, that sounds easy, but really, in a real sense, that do what you want to do. Um, Find the thing that makes you happy, and um, don't be um, don't. And this is the hard part, but don't take life's struggle and put them. Don't put your life struggles on your shoulders every day, because it's uh,
Ah,
you know and
yeah,
especially don't and this is going to come out wrong. I know this is going to come out wrong, but it's meant well. Don't try to put other people's struggles on your shoulders all the time. Help out, be helpful, be there with people. Have, if you can do anything for people, for anybody, please do. Don't walk on by, but don't
yeah,
feel that you
yeah.
have to take on everybody's problems and solve it. That becomes more of a control issue for that you know
Yeah,
that's what I've
yeah. As,
experienced, that people that
yeah.
have this urge to fix everything and everyone around them have more of a control issue than anything else. Try not to do that.
I know what you're getting
Yeah.
at. Yeah, I know what you're getting at, because sometimes people, in a lot of, very often, it's a way of coping. In other words, by not coping with one's
Exactly.
own
Exactly.
issues, you'll lay that to the side and you'll tackle other people's problems.
That's
Wouldn't that have been cool to have
if it's
that
a
on camera? Have
yeah,
that on
yeah,
camera if somebody
exactly.
comes running in here and well,
5 minutes later, we have him as this third guest. Like, why did you break into my house? Well, man, I
no,
don't know.
but but what I was saying is a lot of people will a lot of people will take their own trauma and
Yeah,
set it to the side,
yeah,
set their own
exactly,
life to the side while they tackle the issues, the problems,
exactly.
the challenges in other people's
Yeah,
lives, and that can be a great thing for a while.
it's yep,
For a
yep, yep.
while, but
There's a
you are going to crash and
mm,
burn. You are possibly going to get a lot of people who are dependent on
yeah,
you, so that when you crash and burn, they're going to crash and burn right along
yeah.
with you. So I don't think it's a selfish thing to take care of one's
That's my
self.
point.
You have to take care of yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. And I have a mantra I tell myself every
yeah,
day,
yeah,
often every
yeah,
day, that I am going to engage in repeated introspection. And in other words, I'm going to analyze myself. I'm going to find what I need to work on, and then I'm going to work on that
mm,
so that I can hopefully be stronger, smarter, and in a better condition and position from which I can help not only
yeah,
myself, but my wife, our children, and my friends out
yeah.
there. But it all starts with fixing me. I've got to fix
Exactly.
myself.
That's
So
you said it better than I did.
Write it down and just repeat it. I want to thank you for coming on, Thomas. You are I just love talking with you. I think the first time we talked, we sat on the telephone for almost an hour and a half.
I know that was
or on Messenger, a messenger telephone call for almost an hour and a half, and that was the first time we ever spoke. So I think that says a lot. That says a lot about what we find within ourselves that runs parallel. And that's a true brotherhood. That's a true friendship right there. So I really appreciate you.
Well, thank you, and likewise. I remember that call. It was really special to be in every good aspect of it all. It was just nice.
Well, like I say, that's true. A sign of true brotherhood, right there. Thomas, where's the best place for people to go to find the work that you do?
Well, I have a website, and it's www.fabrikenstudios.com, and you'll find my work and what I've done within those pages. I don't have a Spotify. I do have a Spotify list somewhere, but I don't know if I can't. But I would start there.
You should get that up on your website.
I will.
Get that up on your website, man, so people can click in and listen to the music. But I will make sure that I link to your website.
There's a
I'll
link
make sure I link to your website in the description. Yeah. Excellent. And everybody remember, Thomas, he is the boss at Fabriken Studio in Malmö, Sweden. And he is the leader, the voice of Write That Damn Song podcast. And he's also a good friend and brother of mine. I love you to death,
you too.
Thomas.
Me too.
Thank you so much for coming on, and keep on doing your work.
Too.
Keep on doing what you're doing, man. I love it. I love it.
Thank you so much, and the same to you.
Thanks,
same
man.
to you.
Thank
All
you.
right.
All right, everybody. Everybody go out there, love and be loved, and enjoy the process. Thanks.